Welcome, Aries. This is your weekly focus for March the 11th. Only two cards followed here. March the 11th, 2019 to March 17th, 2019. My name is Tilly, and this is Tarot with Tilly. Let's get right to the cards since they flew out. Look at this. We have the Five of Cups with the High Priestess here. The Five of Cups with the High Priestess. So it's about the magic. It's about the magic within you, but using it in the wrong way, not seeing its full potential, not taking your time to really allow your magic to flow, forcing it in some way, making it work against you in some way. Paying more attention to what hasn't worked, what has failed, the disagreements you have, the arguments that you're having, rather than focusing on you. So keep that in mind. We're going to put those cards back in here. I put them in different places in the deck, so if they show up again, that'll be quite amazing. But we'll see what happens. So let's get to the cards and let's get to the reading. I'm just going to give it a fast shuffle to get those cards back in there again. And see what this week has to offer you. How to walk your path. And we start with, oh, look at this, the Eight of Swords. New perceptions. This is where we have limited our perceptions. This is where we are acknowledging where we have limited our perceptions, hopefully. This is where we take a step back and we realize what is truly in front of us, where we can go, what we can become, where we can step if we are daring. Are we daring enough to rip that blindfold off? To see that we were never really trapped, that it was our way of thinking, our viewpoint, our steps that we have been taking that has actually held us back. So this could be behaviors, this could be habits. So definitely this is a time when we're looking at what we do and how to change things in order to move forward in the way we want. This is information coming in that wasn't available to us before, or information that will be coming in. Because here we're still trapped, okay? The Eight of Swords, we're still trapped. And it's about, this could be where we have to admit we were wrong in some way. Or we don't have all the answers. Or we have limited our viewpoint to what we really want to focus on rather than the whole picture. We have the Five of Swords. Swords, swords, swords. So, we got two swords together. So this is our mental. Absolutely. It could also be action with the swords, but it's more of a mental. It's more of, this is where we think we are so right that we push other people away. This is where we forget about the war and we want to win the battle. This is where we speak out. We demand, we threaten, we curse, we argue. I'm getting it very strongly as, since our perceptions, it's time to maybe listen to somebody else. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason. So listen, listen, listen this week. Don't react as much as possible. So this is definitely, if you watched my Monday video, you're really getting that sense of this energy in your reading so far of taking a step back, counting to 10, before you act, before you speak. It's going to serve you well if you can remember that in the heat of the moments. And remember with Mercury being in retrograde that we may hear something and it's not exactly what the message was coming to us. That is somewhere along the line, it's like playing that telephone game where one person says it to another, to another, to another, to another, to another, until finally at the end of the line somebody's got something completely different. Or it's only getting pieces of the information. You didn't hear it all. You only heard what you wanted to. You only heard what they might have started off in a way that kind of just closed you off to everything else they had to say. So be open to what other people have to say, what other people have to teach, the guidance, the instruction that they are trying to give you. And open your awareness. Definitely open your awareness this week to the big picture. The Knight of Swords. Oh, you have energy, though. Boy, oh boy. You want to go, go, go. You feel like you've been held back in some way, in some part of your life, to the point where once you break free, you want to ride like the wind. So very often I see this card as if you can visualize yourself in this dense, deep, dark forest, and you're trying to make your way through on horseback. And many times you'll have to dismount. You lose the path completely. There's some barrier, maybe it's a stream or maybe it's a cliff, but there are rocks or trees that have fallen that is preventing you from going the way in which you were going, and you have to backtrack. And so you have spent quite some time now going through this forest. And at points you probably saw where perhaps that was an opening. Perhaps that's where you could go forward. Maybe that is where you have trained your sights for your tomorrow. And you break out of this forest and you hit this field, this unending field towards the horizon. And you jump on that stallion, you raise your sword, and you yell, "Charge." So even with the first two cards, if you take it back a little bit, you're actually going to be able to go forward that much faster, with that much more confidence, courage, determination. We have the Two of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands is work and career. What defines you as a person? The placement of the card, not the card itself. And we are summoning in our tomorrow. We are willing it into being tangible, real, something that we can touch, something that we can see, something that we can step into, something we can do. And we have the moon there, and we are coming up on a full moon. Not this week. This week is all new moon energy, which really explains this card, okay? Really explains this card. I would say Mercury retrograde might explain this card a little bit to you a little bit more. And Five of Swords. We'll see how the Five of Swords picks out in the astrology. Nothing came to me, so I'm just going to go with going back to this card right now. Now, I will be teaming it up with the Knight of Swords. Okay, when we look at these two together now, we want our tomorrow today. There is a restlessness in us. There is this wanting for freedom or a journey or an expansion. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel this energy of wanting to summon it into your today, now, at this moment in time. No more waiting, no more restlessness, just doing, doing, doing. And sometimes that can really work against us, especially when we have the Eight of Swords and the Five of Swords telling us that we need to pay attention to what is being told to us. And it could be words from another person. It could be something that we come across and we read. It could be a conversation you overhear. It could be in your dreams, waking and sleeping. You're in a very spiritual time, especially when the sun is in Pisces still. That is a very spiritual time for you to connect with your intuition as well as your wisdom. To take a step back and to realize the magic that's around you. You're not going to realize the magic that is truly the potential of your tomorrow if you are racing through it, if you are saying now, if you do something reckless, if you do something, think it through. Now, Mercury retrograde, everybody's like, oh, you can't do anything new. And that's not necessarily true. If you have been planning it, if you have been putting the steps into place, if you have been revisiting the plan and changing the plan and reinventing the plan and, going over it over and over again, and you come to some conclusions, it's more of a chance that this is right, or something that you've started before, but you're restarting it. Those kinds of things. So long as we are willing to be open to the information that comes in, so long as we are willing to slow it down a little bit, pull on those reins. So where we are feeling confident or lucky or strong or courageous, we have to remember that we need to really mentor ourselves on uh, doing things in moderation, saying things in moderation, enjoying things in moderation, applying a discipline or a self-discipline to ourselves, our actions, our words, uh, and respecting the other person. Okay, and that's kind of here. I see people turning away from you because, and you might respect them. It's just your words came out wrong because you didn't think it through. You didn't take that count to 10. So it could be absolutely right what you were saying, what you were trying to convey to another person, a group of people, maybe to yourself even. But if we don't really take the time to think it through, so, you have it on Monday, it's okay to wait till Sunday to actually have that conversation. For love, relationships, look at that, the Two of Cups. Now, I know next week's full moon is in Libra, which is your 7th house, which is the house of relationships and marriage and partnerships. So with this full moon could easily be bringing you into new relationships, new romances, new ways of connecting with people. This could be somebody really new coming into your life right now. This could be, if you're looking for a relationship, it could be somebody coming into your life right now. If you are in a relationship and maybe it's just the starting point of your relationship, or you haven't been together 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years together, it could be that it's time to take the next step. It's time to take that step closer. It's time to commit to the other in a new way, or commit yourself to the relationship in a new way. And if you've been in a relationship for a while, this is a time to maybe make the plan to take a night away or an afternoon together, to rekindle those moments why you were attracted to each other in the first place, to remember why you fell in love with them, to take it back to the beginning. Tony Robbins, I love his analogy. He says, if you treat every day of your relationship like the very first day, you will never have a last day. And so sometimes we have to be reminded maybe of taking advantage of another person. We also have I'm going to be coupling this, or not taking advantage of the other person. They kind of caught me on that one. Taking for granted the other person. Sometimes when we lash out at the people closest to us because we know that they're not going to leave us and they're not going to hate us and they're going to understand in the long run. And we may not have all those thoughts going through, but subconsciously we know. So we leave for work in the morning and everything just goes wrong. And as the day progresses, it just gets from bad to worse to ugly. And by the time you get home and you open the front door and your partner says, "How was your day?" you absolutely lose it on them. It wasn't their fault, but you know that they love you enough that they will understand. Eight of Swords. This is breaking out of the perception of what the relationship is, what it stands for in your life. Now, when I talk about love relationships, it could be a best friend. It could be somebody within the workplace or the community. It could be your lover, your partner, a child, a parent. So look at all your relationships when I talk about love and relationships. Look at, all the people that you love in your life. New perceptions, new understandings. You might have, I would say, more of an acquaintance that all of a sudden you see their magic for the first time. You see how you guys fit together. You create this new bond that was never there before over something that was said or observed. So be open to changing your perception. I heard limited perception to what that person means to you in your life and the expansion of where you can take that relationship going forward. And then our final card is the Queen of Swords. Now, we have lots of swords here, don't we? Wow. 1, 2, 3. All the first 3 cards were all swords. The final card is swords. We have a Cup and a Wands, giving us a little bit of balance there. Except for the Knight and the Queen here, we don't have a lot of royalty. Last week, I think we had a lot of royalty, did we not? So it's more about you this week and your actions, reactions, your words, your habits, your behaviors, your goals, your dreams, your desires. And the Queen of Swords comes out at the end to say, no, you are going forward. This is a time to really embrace your passions, your dreams, your desires, your goals, to know that you're going forward. I love the Queen of Swords. She reminds me of the mom in the deck. And when we're talking about an overall general reading for Aries, whether it is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign that we are dealing with here, the Queen of Swords, I kind of associate with that mother, that stereotypical motherly instinct, okay, of giving birth to something, raising it, caring for it, nurturing it, loving it, and protecting it at all costs. So maybe it's your health and well-being that you are more in line with, but I'm thinking a lot of you it is work and career because the Two of Wands were summoning it in, but it also could be relationships, new relationships, making that relationship, that commitment, and growing it into the next level. So it could be just about any area of your life where you have those goals, where you have those dreams, where you have those desires. And this card is saying, you are going to love and nurture and grow. So slowing it down, right? A woman doesn't give birth to a baby and then sign them up for their university education and ship them away to university the next day. They allow that dream to unfold. They allow that goal to unfold one step at a time. Now I see that tall mountain in the back there. Usually that doesn't catch my eyes, so it's talking about the mountains you can climb, the success that you can have when you truly commit to that passion, to that goal, to that desire. So it's kind of like not sitting on the fence here. Also, it's telling me that you will have some very strong opinions about your goals and dreams this week, and you are not going to want the interference of people telling you how it should be rather than how you think it should be. So be careful once again. You probably are right in what you are trying to say and what you are trying to convey. I don't want to take that away from you because these cards say you're probably right in your stance, but you do need to maybe open up your perception to more, broaden the horizon on what you can truly step into rather than the limited view that you have. Even if you don't think it's limited, okay? It can expand, it can grow. And it's up to you to love, yes, yourself, but your goals and your dreams, your desires, the path you want to walk, your passions. Follow your intuition very strongly. We have the angel there. And like I said, the sun is in Pisces, which is giving you this intuition right now that is very strong, that you can utilize. Now, the sun in Pisces also might reveal, because some of these cards aren't the most positive on the board for you this week, it might reveal some kind of unacknowledged or repressed part of yourself that you didn't even know was there, that you didn't even know it was blocking you, because we started with the Eight of Swords. I remember one time I was talking to somebody and they were helping me through a very challenging part of my life. And they said something to me that was very strong and abrupt, kind of might, this kind of energy. And I sat there for a second and I just stared back at them and they said, too strong, too blunt. And I go, that was a refreshing slap in the face. So, it hurt what they said, but because I sat there for a minute and absorbed it, I saw the truth in it. So and that helped me to move forward. It wasn't that I was wrong in what I was thinking, it was my approach at the time. It may be your approach, it may be your way of thinking, it may be that you were trying to rush things too much. Be careful of that this week. I know we are in new moon energy and you want to go, go, go. The sun is getting closer and closer to moving into your sign. So an early happy birthday. It's coming. And for you, especially during the next several weeks, or the next week, because the sun moves into Aries next week, doesn't it? Over this week, it is about tying up those loose ends. It is about realizing where you want to go forward. It is about taking that step back and waiting for the sun to actually appear in your sign to really push forward in the way that you want. So I think with this restlessness, there could be movement forward, absolutely. But it's a highly mental kind of week for you. If you're moving forward in any direction, I would have to say it's your career, or it is your stature in the community, your achievements, your public image. And so just hold back a little bit this week. Think about what you want to say. Think about what you want to do. Think about those limiting behaviors or habits that you have in your life and transforming them into positive things to move forward. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.